Good morning, dear students. We are going to continue nervous system. In last class, we have seen the structure of neuron, different types of neuron, and today we are going to see the central nervous system. Central nervous system includes brain and spinal cord. Actually, the brain and spinal cord are well protected inside the skull and the vertebral column. In short form, we can say CNS. It is made up of two matter such as gray matter and white matter. Now, what is gray matter and white matter? In last class, I said neuron is covered by myelin sheath, means it is made up of gray matter. If the neuron is not having the myelin sheath on its outer covering, then it is called white matter. So the brain is the controlling center of the body. It is covered by meninges. What is called meninges? It is formed of three connective tissue. It is otherwise referred as dura mater, arachnoid membrane, and pia mater. I'll explain with the diagram. Here you can see the human brain. A small portion is enlarged here. Here the meninges you can see very clearly. It is made up of three layers, I said, dura mater, arachnoid matter, and pia matter. The outer thick fibrous matter is dura matter, middle thin and forming web-like cushion is called arachnoid membrane. It is followed by pia matter. It is inner thin delicate membrane. Actually, these three layers protect our brain from mechanical injury. Okay. The human brain has three parts. Basically, you can say forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. Here you can see the longitudinal section of brain. This portion is forebrain, and this portion is midbrain, and this portion is hindbrain. All the three parts we are going to see one by one. The first one, forebrain. Forebrain is made up of cerebrum and diencephalon. Already I said in the diagram, this blue region full is cerebrum and the diencephalon is this portion. It is made up of thalamus and hypothalamus. What is cerebrum? Cerebrum is the largest portion of the brain. It is divided into right and left cerebral hemispheres with a median cleft. The cerebrum is divided into left and right cerebral hemispheres, and these two are connected by a thick band called corpus callosum. You may get 1 mark question from this. What is the name of the tissue that interconnects the left and right cerebral hemispheres? Okay, the cerebrum has two parts, outer and inner, and outer cerebral hemisphere is otherwise called cerebral cortex. It is made up of gray matter. The inner cerebral hemisphere is called cerebral medulla and it is made up of white matter. Cerebral cortex is folded forming elevations called gyri, and this cerebral cortex with some depressions, they are called sulci. You can see in the diagram very clearly the upper part, that is the part which is showing elevations are gyri and some depressions in between the gyri is sulci. So you may get a short answer question, what is gyri and what is sulci? Cerebral cortex is folded forming elevation is called gyri. Cerebral cortex with some depressions are called sulci. Cerebral cortex is divided into many lobes. Actually, these lobes are called cerebral lobes. Cerebral lobes are made up of frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal lobe, occipital lobe. So, what is the function of cerebrum? This is very important. Cerebrum is the main cause, or they are showing the function of thinking, intelligence, consciousness, memory, imagination, reasoning, and willpower. These are all the important functions of cerebrum. Next we are going to see the cerebral medulla. So far we have seen the cerebral cortex. Now we are going to see the cerebral medulla. Already I said about the thalamus and hypothalamus. Here you can see thalamus and hypothalamus. These portions are seen in cerebral medulla. That is, the inner part of the cerebrum is cerebral medulla, and the thalamus and hypothalamus are seen in cerebral medulla. Okay, what is the function of thalamus? It is it is the relay center, and hypothalamus lies at the base of the thalamus, I said. Here you can see hypothalamus. Okay, what is the function of these two? It controls involuntary action like hunger, thirst, sleep, sweating, sexual desire, anger, fear, water balance, and blood pressure. Okay, these are all the main functions of cerebral medulla. Next we are going to see the midbrain. It is located between thalamus and hindbrain. The dorsal portion of the midbrain consists of 4 rounded bodies called corporo-quadrigemina. The word it is difficult to pronounce, but you can understand 4 rounded bodies which are present in the dorsal portion of the midbrain. What is the function of this corporo-quadrigemina? It controls visual and auditory reflexes. Whatever the things you are visualizing, whatever the sound you are hearing, all these are controlled by this midbrain. Okay, try to remember the midbrain is made up of corporo-quadrigemina, and try to learn the functions of this corporo-quadrigemina. The last about the hindbrain. It is formed of 3 main parts: cerebellum, pons, medulla oblongata. In the diagram I will show you. The hindbrain is made up of cerebellum, pons, and then medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata continues with the spinal cord. Okay, now we will see one by one. Cerebellum. The cerebellum is the second largest portion of the brain. Which one is the first one? The first one is cerebrum. The cerebellum is the second largest portion of the brain. Okay, what is the function of this cerebellum? It controls voluntary movements and maintains body balance. I used to tell my students, the drunkard person cannot walk straight. Why? Because the cerebellum is affected. So the person cannot walk straight. Because the body balance is not controlled by him because he is drunkard, and the cerebellum is affected. Okay, the second one, pons. Pons connect the lobes of cerebellum. What is the function of pons? It controls the respiration and sleeping cycles. That is why after 10 o'clock, after eating lunch, after eating the dinner, you will be getting sleep because of the pons. Medulla oblongata, the last part of the hindbrain. This is the posterior part of the brain. It controls heartbeat, respiration, and contraction of blood vessels. Okay. Thank you, students.